Hey, what's up? I'm Shad. I'm sitting here with Dr. Kurt Hale, and we're gonna have an open discussion about building wealth in the community.
You hear this term generational wealth, right? And it's kind of getting thrown out there almost like it's proverbial, especially in the Black community. What exactly does generational wealth look like? Especially for somebody like me, is it when you consider real estate? Is generational wealth me buying a bunch of properties and giving it to my kids? Is generational wealth me buying one property, paying it off, and making sure that my kids don't have a mortgage? Is generational wealth me buying a property for a great deal, selling it, and then putting the proceeds, the equity into my kids' bank account? I mean, how does generational wealth look as far as real estate?
I think generational wealth is everything that you said, but I also think generational wealth is a system. You got to set up a system for after you pass. Me dealing with a lot of probate sellers, I see a lot of people. They don't have a will, they don't have a trust, and they pass the property down on to their kids, but the kids don't know what to do with it. So a step further, a step backwards from the system is education. Because if I pass it to my kids and they don't know what to do with it, I might as well not even pass it to them, because they probably just gonna sell it off or don't want to be bothered with it because they really don't respect it, they don't understand it. So I think wealth building is more of a system than anything else.
Yeah.
I study Rockefeller. The reason why his money passed through generations is because they had a system. They had a family bank. They had systems and processes in place for years and decades after he left. It was well thought out.
Yeah.
Like chess, not checkers. He was really playing chess. It's a lot of dynasties who pass money down, but it don't last. It get watered down as it goes on because there's no system in place. So I think the main thing people need to realize is educate your heirs who inherits in this property, so they can understand and respect what they have. Because some people sell properties, they don't even know what they have because they too lazy to do the research, or it's just not their thing. But if that's the case, then that's not who you should have passed the property down to.
Yeah.
One thing that you can do that a lot of people don't know about is put the properties in a spendthrift trust. A spendthrift trust is basically you're passing it down to someone you don't feel is going to do right with the money, or someone that's not good with money. So they can never sell the property. They can only pass it down. So you can keep it in the bloodline that way. So yeah.
And what's that called again?
Spendthrift trust.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does land? I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. I moved to Atlanta when I was like 5.
So pretty from the 8 out.
No, well, pretty much. But down in the South, everybody's big on land, owning acres and acres of land. Where does land come into play as far as generational wealth? Should people like me be seeking to acquire land? And it was also, I'm not sure if you're familiar, it was an article that came out maybe about a week ago where Rick Ross down in Fayetteville, he just brought a huge plot of land.
83 acres.
83 acres, yeah. So what is he seeing? Because obviously, Rick Ross is a businessman. He's pretty savvy in business. What is he seeing that I should be looking for?
He's saying he's doing what he's supposed to do. Real estate is one of the building blocks to wealth. So you want to accumulate as much land and property and businesses and intellectual property that you can, and build up as much capital as you can. I'm not just talking about fiscal money. Capital is anything that can pay you. I'm pretty sure he's buying that land, so he can either build something that can pay him, probably growing a farm, anything. But he's doing what people should be doing, which is acquiring land, acquiring businesses, creating intellectual property, creating products where you can get royalties off of, like that's how you build generational wealth. You don't build generational wealth by working harder. I mean, as far as being physical, the labor part of it. You see what I'm saying? Like, a lot of this is from the neck up, creating something one time and getting paid on it forever. That's how you create wealth. I know a lot of people think that, if I got a job and I want to make more money, I'm going to get 2 jobs. I mean, I think that's backwards. If you got a job, keep your job to hold your float, to cover your baseline, but at the same time, you need to go do something in your spare time. You need to try to go create some type of intellectual property, something that's going to pay you some residuals, so that can at some point replace your job. You know what I'm saying? So that way, that could be your main source, and you can use that to leverage your time to go work on something else.
What's the key? Because a lot of African Americans, for example, have worked on building self-sustaining communities. What's the key to a true self-sustaining community? Is it possible to only buy black, spend black, live black, or is that just something that we tell ourselves?
Why wouldn't it be possible?
Well, I mean, at some point, don't you have to go outside your community and bring dollars and spend dollars outside of your community? And this is, I guess, what you were hinting on as far as ownership. So, or do we need to own everything in our community first? Is that the only way that it's sustainable?
Yeah, I think group economics is the key. I think it's a solution to a lot of problems. Group economics, building infrastructure, owning things that we don't own, owning radio stations, owning TV stations, having politicians on our side, on our team. And all that takes economics. So I think it's group economics, group politics that is going to be the key that what we need.
So is it?
And I do think it's possible to shop with your own. I really do think it's possible.
Yeah. So if I were to get a group of my friends together and we were to, what would you say if collectively, let's say that we're sitting on about $1 million? Would you be a proponent of us going out and attempting to start our own community, buying the land, buying the property, especially here out in Georgia? It's a lot of rural counties. Would you be a proponent of us doing that, or would it more or less be not necessarily a waste of our money, but will it create generational wealth?
I think anytime you create something that wasn't there, I think you're owning something. And I also say for the second part of that question is, why wouldn't it work? And I would say, I would even go a step further to say, if you're going in thinking that it won't work, you might as well not even do it in the first place. If you go in with a kamikaze style type, if this is gonna work or else, or this is gonna work, or it's gotta work, or there's no plan B, then it will work. I think it's more, first of all, I think you may need more than $1 million, but it's a good starting point. But I do think it's possible. Yeah. It's always impossible till it's done. So I would say go for it. Why not? Yeah. People have been building communities from the beginning of the time. If you research that and study who was successful and who wasn't, and navigate that path, I think you'll be in a good space.
All right. So one last question that I had was, because you know me, I'm big on education. All right. What role does education play in our community and as far as building generational wealth? I know you have been a long proponent of free education.
Not so much free education, but I just don't think it has to be done the way it's been done. Systemic education. I don't think that's the way. I don't mind paying for knowledge, but I don't think it takes 4 years to get an MBA either, and I don't think, I'll say this. So let's say you go to business school, right, to get an MBA. I mean, for everybody who's looking at this video that's going to school to get an MBA to learn business from somebody who's not doing business, they're teaching theory. Ask them, what businesses do they own? Because I can promise you, if they own any business, they won't have time to sit up here and teach Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Or maybe they would. Maybe it's their passion. But 9 times out of 10, I mean, what are you really teaching me?
Yeah.
You something out of a textbook? I mean, I'd rather go shadow somebody who's actually doing business. I'd rather go intern with a company that's actually doing business, and that's just my thoughts.
Okay, all right. So from what I gather, just to kind of bring everything to a close, the keys to generational wealth. You mentioned group economics, having capital, land, education, and what else would you say are the keys to building generational wealth?
Systems.
Okay.
Having a system for even after you pass, like having a will and a trust, those are the first steps. Those are the preliminary steps. But you need systems to how to control the money even after you're gone. Even how to control the assets even after you're gone. Yeah. Because I mean, just look at it. I studied Rockefeller, I studied the Vanderbilts and the Carnegies and everybody like that. That was getting it back in the 1800s. I studied all that, and I'm seeing that, you can pass it down, but who's to say that they're gonna do the right thing with it? So you gotta create that system to where there's no gray area in what they can do with the assets that you pass down to them.
Gotcha. Well, man, I appreciate you coming out, man. Appreciate you.
For sure.
Once again, give me that free game, brother.
For sure.